The Toronto Raptors. This is very easy. So you're going to keep Nick Nurse, amazing coach. He's already won a championship his first season. Kyle Lowry's getting up in age. It's not a problem. He's still going to retire as a Raptor. I will look to bring in DeMar DeRozan. They need a 3 on their team. They lost Kawhi Leonard. I would look to bring everyone else on their team because they have the championship DNA. I would probably let go of some of these younger cats. I know what's his face, Patrick McCall, 3-time champ. Congrats to him. But some of these guys aren't really playing as much. You're gonna have a bunch of contracts that are gonna expire for some of these guys. So bring in veterans on this team. Like before, they had Jody Meeks, and then a couple cats like that. Look to re-sign Marc Gasol as well as Serge. I think Serge will probably chase the bag somewhere else for a team to, that can pay him more. We would have to see when it comes to that. But DeMar DeRozan, number one, I think that would be great for both parties. Even if they don't win another championship, that's not a big deal. I think their peak would be a conference finals appearance. I don't think they would ever get back to the finals whenever you have the Bucks and the Nets. I think they could be close getting back to one, but I just don't see it. I think that would be great for both parties. That's all they need, a starting small forward, and who better than DeMar DeRozan, who's hungry for a championship as well. Houston Rockets, boy, they're most likely, Daryl Morey is going to let go of Mike D'Antoni. Kind of the writing's on the wall. I feel like they're going for a new era. I don't see any other coach that can replace, James Harden's style and how they could be. I think James Harden's more hard-headed and stubborn to where he would play in more an offensive system that's not predicated towards him only. So I think they would, based on that standard, they would have to keep Mike D'Antoni. You're going to have to stay with Russell Westbrook with his contract, 3 more years. Same thing with James Harden. I think within this team, I would look to bring in a LaMarcus Aldridge. I know they like to run small and not big. I think in the half court, they don't know how to score if it's not just those two dancing around, kicking and passing out or just shooting contested shots. I would look to bring in LaMarcus Aldridge in the half court to where he can get his own shot on the block and slow the game down a little bit as well. That's what I would definitely look for. If he does opt out, sign him to free agency, let some of these players go. I think it's time to let go of Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. They're great players for this team, but the era is over when it came from 2016 to 2019. That era of the Rockets basketball is done with. They're not going to recreate any of that magic happen again. I think they need to let these guys go and kind of retool, especially for next season. Same thing, let go of Ben McLemore, Austin Rivers, some of these players who's been on there before. You're going to have to bring some fives in the team, either maybe with DeMarcus Cousins to start on the team or LaMarcus Aldridge. And then same thing. So if you have a starting lineup of a James Harden, a Russell Westbrook, LaMarcus Aldridge at the 5, if you are going to trade away any other players, you're probably going to have to look for a 3 or 4 just 3-and-D type players. But the Rockets, they're in a weird situation. I don't know. I really don't know with this team. When you have Harden and Westbrook, they're not going to win a championship. I think Harden's peak of championship status is over with since 2019. The Spurs, they simply need to retool and rebuild this team. Popovich needs to retire. They need to bring in a new head coach. Could be Tim Duncan. I know when Pop was out a couple games, he did have his assistant coach, Tim Duncan, actually coach, so that could be in the works. They need to let go of DeMar DeRozan, Aldridge. They need to rebuild, start young, a new era within this team that's not going to be consistent of winning for the next couple of seasons. They're not going to mention that, but that's something to where they're going to have to build off young cats like Dejounte Murray. You're going to have Derek Wright in the picture. You're going to have to let go of Rudy Gay. Patty Mills, you got to let him go as well. This is going to be a new era for this team. If you're looking for a free agent, I would actually look to trade for a Michael Porter Jr. For this team. And if you're looking for a free agent, there's not a big young guy. I would actually look to trade for Rudy Gobert during this time period because they're not going to sign any big free agents for a while to where they can actually reach kind of contending status with Dejounte Murray being around 26 years of age. Not much on the Spurs side of things. I would tell them to hold back still, wait, save their money, and as of right now, for free agency, save your money. If you're going to make a trade, definitely go for a Rudy Gobert. Phoenix Suns. So, man, this team. Devin Booker, he can't be your number one option. He needs to be, in this stage of his career, a second option. If you're looking for a championship, a third option. But for this stage in his career to make a couple playoff appearances, he can't be your number one option. It depends on how DeAndre Ayton does grow his game. But since these two are very similar in their skill sets not in their skill sets, but similar in their progression level of their overalls and how their effective dominance as well as impact are kind of close, I can kind of let that slide 1A, 1B. I do like the makeup of this team. It's something to where the Western Conference is so loaded with great playoff teams and veterans and experience. They could possibly slide in next season. There's going to be downfalls of like the Thunder. I don't think the Thunder will make the playoffs next season. I think they're going to rebuild their team, so that can leave a slot open for the Suns. We don't know if the Grizzlies are stabilized. But then you have to think about it. The Warriors are going to be back in the picture because they were injured. Same thing with the Pelicans. I don't know when it comes to the Suns. Again, with this free agency class, there's no stars out there, and there's not any impact players that could actually happen, immediately for this team. The Oklahoma City Thunder, which I was discussing, they need to rebuild. It's great for them. It proves W's on both sides. Chris Paul can still be a number one option. He's always been an impactful player. Looks great for his career after kind of how it ended badly in Houston. So they can let him go, trade him away for more picks, or to a contender staying status like the Milwaukee Bucks. They're gonna have to start young with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They do have 6 first-round picks in the next 2 to 3 seasons, which they can kind of cap on more. I would actually let go of Danilo Gallinari. He will be a free agent. Let him walk with. Dennis Schroeder has been great on this team. I would still keep him probably as your starting point guard with Shai. They'll be a young but respectable and nice potential for a backcourt for the team. Then you have to let go of Andre Roberson. So this team is going to have to go full rebuild, kind of like the Spurs, but they're in a better direction with the picks and the style management they do have. So not much within the Thunder. I think they'll keep Billy Donovan as their coach. Real quickly, we're about to end it here. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, I actually would, if I'm them, I would trade away Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. I did make a video, if you guys go down below, about rebuilding the Phoenix Suns, and I proposed a trade package on there. Check that out. But I would send these guys down to Phoenix if you can get a 3-team trade of Michael Porter Jr., the number 1 pick, which was LaMelo Ball, or if that is the case, and then as well as who was the other cat? DeAndre Ayton. And there were some picks and such. I would look to do that. You're not going to make the playoffs the next 2-3 seasons. Cat's going to leave here. It makes no sense. There's no juice. There's no energy. Cat can't be your number 1 option anyways. I know they just signed D'Angelo Russell, who wants to play with Cat, but I would send them off to Phoenix and play with Devin Booker. There's nothing this team could do. As anything else, I would have to rebuild this team completely. But check out that video. Portland Trailblazers, keep their coach Terry Stotts. He's been great with them. Damian Lillard, keep him as well. I would entertain to find trade packages for CJ McCollum. They're just like John Wall and Bradley Beal, a 1 and 2 together, to where they're the best players and they need the ball in their hands. I think Damian Lillard would play better with like a Paul George as your starting small forward. Another all-star that's a small forward like a DeMar DeRozan. I will look to bring back LaMarcus Aldridge on this team. I'll look to trade him and sign DeMar DeRozan, so you can have a starting lineup of Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and as well as you're going to have to find a center for cheap like a Joakim Noah or something kind of along those lines. I will let go of Nurkic. Carmelo Anthony is going to have to walk unless he would get a veteran's minimum. I think Carmelo Anthony will actually he'll probably get paid at least $5 million in free agency, or maybe just veteran minimums. Who knows? But when it comes to a free agent, definitely go for DeMar DeRozan as well as LaMarcus Aldridge, and possibly entertain any ideas with CJ McCollum trading away to be a number 1 option in another team. Golden State Warriors, keep everything intact. Go and shoot for Giannis Antetokounmpo or a big free agent in 2021. They've been injured this season, so let them just prove to them in the world of how Steph Curry can take them back to the conference finals or anything along those lines. I think they'll either lose in the 2nd or 3rd round. Test out Andrew Wiggins with the team. He can play like a Harrison Barnes type role. Draymond Green will still be effective on this team. Plus, they're going to have a top 3, tie 5 pick. So this could be James Wiseman. They can start as their starting 5. And then just fill out the bench. You got to let go of these young cats here. You have to bring in some veterans on this team, which is not a hard thing for them to do in San Francisco. And then lastly, you do have the Washington Wizards. They need to rebuild this. They need to trade away John Wall. He's going to be very healthy. It's going to be around 2 seasons he's missed. But I think like a team maybe like the Miami Heat or maybe even the Utah Jazz would even consider bringing him in. And then they would have to trade away Bradley Beal as well. He can't be a number 1 option for your team. This experiment has been around 6 seasons or so. Their peak was done with in like 2016 or 2017. So they need to go in a new direction. But overall, guys, based on the free agency class in 2020, there's not a lot of cats out there. Again, it's only going to be like Anthony Davis, Andre Drummond, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and other players depending on if they opt out. Not a lot of key players in there. I expect the teams to stay the same. But overall, when it comes to 2021 season, we can see a couple little changes that are going to occur with each of these teams. Some of the bigger trades, if anything, like a CJ McCollum, a John Wall, a Bradley Beal trade. Who knows when it comes to that Mike Conley? I mean, maybe Rudy Gobert with that package within them. Not a lot of things. I expect the contenders pretty much to stay. But you're going to have teams like the Warriors rise up, the Pelicans, Mavericks are going to get better. I don't know about the Phoenix Suns, to be honest. And then let's see, if they do trade away Karl Anthony Towns,